Have you ever felt like you're not enough? This question is at the heart of Brené Brown's enlightening book, Daring Greatly. It's a deep dive into the concept of scarcity, a fear that we're not smart enough, experienced enough, or simply not good enough. This fear can seep into every corner of our lives, creating a shadow that can be hard to shake. But fear not, as we journey through this book, we will explore how to navigate these feelings and embrace our vulnerabilities. Vulnerability is not weakness. A powerful statement, isn't it? Yet so many of us have been conditioned to believe otherwise. Brené Brown, in her groundbreaking book, Daring Greatly, shatters some of the most prevalent myths surrounding vulnerability. First off, vulnerability is not synonymous with fragility. Let's look at the world's leaders. Many of them demonstrate vulnerability in their decision-making processes, and yet they're far from being fragile. Their ability to be vulnerable, to admit when they're unsure or need help, makes them approachable, relatable, and ultimately more effective leaders. Then there's the myth that being vulnerable means being weak. But as Brené Brown elucidates, vulnerability is actually a testament to our strength. It takes courage to let down our guard, to show our authentic selves, warts and all. By debunking these myths, we can start to view vulnerability as a source of power and connection. It's not about being weak or fragile, but about being brave and authentic. Shame is a powerful emotion that can hold us back. It's like a shadow, creeping into our thoughts, feeding off our vulnerabilities. Shame is often linked to these vulnerabilities, those soft spots where we fear exposure the most. It's the sinking feeling when you think you're not good enough, the fear of asking for help, the dread of being seen as less than perfect. But what if I told you, you can grow from this? It's called shame resilience, a skill we can cultivate. It's about acknowledging your mistakes, learning from them, and refusing to let shame dictate your worth. It's about standing tall despite the storm, and there's another way to bridge the chasm that shame often creates. Empathy. It's about understanding others, sharing their feelings. It's the antidote to the isolation that shame can foster. When we respond with empathy, we replace judgment with acceptance. We replace disconnect with connection. By understanding shame, we can begin to combat it and foster more empathetic connections. Embracing vulnerability can lead to creativity and connection. It's the raw material that fuels our art, our relationships, our leadership. When we let our guard down, when we tear down our walls, we create space for something beautiful to emerge. It's not always easy, though. We live in a society that often tells us to hide our vulnerabilities, to put on a brave face. This is especially true for men, who are often discouraged from expressing emotional vulnerability due to societal norms. But vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a strength. It's the courage to show up, to be seen, to say, "This is me, flaws and all." It's the willingness to risk getting hurt because the potential rewards, authenticity, intimacy, joy, are worth it. Vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. By embracing our vulnerabilities, we can foster deeper connections and unlock our creative potential. Vulnerability is not a weakness, but a strength. It's a concept that Brené Brown passionately advocates for in her book, Daring Greatly. She illustrates how vulnerability and shame resilience play a pivotal role in various aspects of our lives. Imagine being a parent, admitting your mistakes to your children, and fostering an environment where vulnerability is not just accepted but celebrated. It's a powerful lesson for our young ones, teaching them that it's okay to be human, to err, and to learn from those mistakes. Now transport that same principle to the workplace. It's a place where we often wear a mask of infallibility. But what if leaders dared to be vulnerable? By admitting uncertainty or asking for input, they'd create a space for innovation and collaboration, where everyone feels valued and heard. Brown also emphasizes the shared human experience of vulnerability and shame, reminding us that we are not alone. Our struggles, our fears, our insecurities, they connect us, binding us in a shared experience that transcends borders, cultures, and social strata. Moreover, Brown urges us to embrace vulnerability as a form of disruptive engagement. This could mean challenging the status quo, using our vulnerabilities and experiences to inspire change, to shake up the world, and to make it a better place. By daring greatly, we can transform our lives and society. So pick up a copy of Daring Greatly, embrace your vulnerabilities, and dare to be great.